What's up, everybody? Brian from the Liquidation Locker, and today I've got a little treat for you guys. So what I've done, and what I've decided I'm going to go ahead and do with you guys, is I'm going to go through some of the orders I've placed online for inventory, and I'm going to show you guys kind of what made me pick those orders and why I was willing to spend the amount I spent on it. So as we go to liquidation.com, I have an account with them, guys. If you guys don't, go ahead and just sign up for an account. It's pretty quick, pretty easy. You don't need an actual resale certificate to buy on liquidation.com. I do believe you need one to sell, but to buy you don't. So here's like some of the transactions and some of the things that I've done recently, right? So here, let's look at this one. So we have Sony wireless. Sony is one of the things that I really choose to sell a lot. I find that it sells really well, really quickly. There's a lot of competition as far as Sony goes, so please don't get into Sony if you don't already have a high rate of sales, because Sony is definitely one of my least profitable things that I sell, but it's one of the fastest things I sell. So on average I get about 5 different orders or boxes, because they don't really sell pallets on liquidation.com, but about 5 to 6 boxes a week of Sony gear, and I would say it makes up 60% of my sales. But in the long run, I'm only netting anywhere from 28 to 32% on my Sony, where on a lot of my like in-store returns I'm netting closer to the 45 and some of it even more than that. So it all, for me, it's a balance of selling a lot of Sony gear, and that's what really kind of pays the bills, and then all of the returns that come along behind it are what really boost my profit into that next level where I want it to be. A product like Sony, even busted, people will buy it to try putting a Sony speaker into a different unit or a new unit, or we'll make a Franken speaker. There's always people out there tinkering. Sony has always been a name that's generated a lot of the tinkerers. They love to tear them down and break them apart, see how they work. I have a lot of international sales that have to do with 4 parts repair units. I don't know if they're fixing them. I don't know if they're trying to figure out how to mimic them. I don't know, but that's where most of my salvage units go. So if you don't ship internationally, think about the idea of shipping internationally with no returns, 4 parts repair units. That's what I do with it. Just get it out of my hands. They're paying for shipping anyway, so I'm not worried about the shipping costs. It's as easy as that. So now that I know I have 12 units, I have to know, what does an XP40 go for, what does an XP30 go for, what does an XP20 go for. So to do that, I jump over here to eBay, and I typically, how I do this is I go ahead and I go through and I start to type in the name of the product I'm looking for. I like to let eBay auto-complete it for me, because that lets me know a couple things. One, that it's the keyword for that search, so that's probably the highest search name for that product. But 2, it also lets me know what other products are searched for that are similar to that product. So it'll bring up other models similar to that, bring up other generations that are similar to that, and it'll give you a little bit more of an understanding of your product. Because sometimes there's multiple generations to a product, and they're not always very forthright. The branding is not always very forthright in letting people know that this is a 2nd generation model and this is a 1st generation model. So when you go on eBay and you see a headset's going for $200, and there's 5 of them for $500, you say, damn, I'm buying it. That's $100 I'm going to make on each one. What you didn't realize, though, was that the headsets you purchased were Generation 1, and the headsets you did your research on were Generation 2. Now, when you got the actual product, and you typed in the model number on eBay, and you realized it was Generation 1, when it's too late to make a change, and you realize those headsets are only going for about $1.15 a piece, and you realize you just tied up $500 to break even if you're lucky, and that's if no returns come through. So what, if anything, I can get through to you guys is, when you're reselling electronics, make sure you have a firm understanding of electronics. What I did is, as I was making that last video, I had the UPS guy literally come and drop off a Sony package at the time. Figured it's perfect timing to go ahead and break it down with you guys, show you guys in person what I'm getting, what I'm spending, what I'm expecting to get, and kind of a little bit of what my profit should be on it. So, I'm going to try to do this the best I can. I don't typically make videos with my cell phone, so don't hate me for this, guys. Typically, you'll have the good, nice 4K gimbal video, but for today, we're going to do some cell phone footage. So, what I got right here is I have 1, 2, 3, and 4 Sony SRS XP40 units. The exact units we were talking about before the video stopped. Now, as I open one of these up, you can get a glimpse of typically the condition you can kind of expect. Now, as you see, this one's a little dirty. It's got some scuffs and scratches on it, right? It's got the stickering. The grill is a little dented. I have a really cool system for how I knock the dents out of the grill. It's kind of like it's a little hard to explain, but if any of you guys start getting Sony units and you need help kind of getting the dents out of your grill, send me a message or reach out to me. I'll make a video for you guys to know how to do it. But as you can tell, like, just to double check, see, it powers on, it works. Typically, everything on these units is fine. There's just some cosmetic things that are a little iffy. What we also have here are some of the Sony SRS XB20s. Are these little guys right here. Now, the way you know the difference between the 20 and the 2 is the 20 will have this light that comes around the speaker grill, where the 2s will kind of look similar. They basically look the same, but they won't have the light. And actually, a great explanation for that is I have a Sony SRS XB3 right here. Right? And I have a Sony SRS XB30 right here as well. So when you put them side by side, you can tell there is most certainly a difference in them. So what you don't want to do, guys, you don't ever want to risk buying a product thinking you're buying 50 of these, find out you get 50 of these. Because what's going to happen is that 50 of these are not worth the same as these. And they're going to be a good enough price difference that it's going to hurt your bottom line. It's going to hurt. What I also got in this box is I got a total of 2 black 20s, 3 blue 20s, 1 white 20, a 30, a 3, and an LG 50G. I think it is, yeah. LFS 50G. It's kind of like a smart home. It's like a Google smart home that Sony makes. Now, as I kind of go through this, I'm going to give you guys really quick, rough, low estimates on what I'm going to make. Now, on the Sony SRS XB40s, I can typically get about $80 for. On the SRS XB20s, I can typically get $30 to $35 a piece, depending on color and condition. On the LFS 50, I usually get about $50 for it. On the 30, I get about $50 for it. And on the 3, I get about $40 for it. Alright guys, so what I went ahead and did is I went ahead and just finished up this video right here on the cell phone. I didn't want to make you guys wait. I wanted to be able to post this so you guys could see it right away and really get a glimpse of what we're doing here with eBay and reselling and the potential you truly have in the market. Now, just to kind of go over a rerun of everything we covered today, we went through one of my best sources, which is Liquidation.com. We looked at one of the lockers I just bought, which was a Sony refurbished return unit. Now, in that unit, there was a total of 6 XB20s, 1 XB30, 1 XB3, an LFS 50, and 4 SRS XB40s. And that came out to about an estimated total of $650. Now, are you ready to know what we spent on this? We only spent $245 shipped. So, in closing, even after we ship all these products, I would probably account for, because they're a little bit bigger, the 20s you can ship in a padded flat rate mailer as long as you double them up. The 40s and 30s I send in flat rate A, so I usually say about $8 to $9 shipping. I just call it at $8 across the board, right, just to give you a nice estimate. And what you'll still see after all that math is done, you'll still see you've made about $280 after you paid eBay, PayPal, and included free shipping in that. So on a $240 investment, I made more than I originally made with products I bought online, had shipped directly to me, opened them, cleaned them. Listen, that's all we gotta do, guys. This is simple. Keep it simple, follow your business practices, follow your business strategies, don't veer from the course, and most of all, don't give up hope. Signing off, guys. Hit that subscribe button. Thanks again.